If you are someone who's trying to decide whether or not you want to stay married or if you're ready to leave your relationship, there is something important you need to understand. Your decision is not dependent on your spouse. Let me say that again. Your decision is not dependent on your spouse. So, based on my experience and the experience of my clients, my friends, my family, basically everyone I've ever talked to who is struggling with this decision, most of the time, we're believing that our partner is the problem and that if they would just change something, usually something specific about how they show up for you or within your relationship, that things would be great. And please hear me. I'm not saying that there's nothing that your spouse could do differently. I'm not saying that at all. However, I'm going to guess that you have asked them for change probably in many different ways. And then you end up waiting to see if they'll comply with your request before you make your decision because you're going to base your decision on whatever they end up doing. And you wait and you ask again and you wait some more. And you ask again, maybe a little differently, and you wait some more. So many times, the waiting periods are extended because you might see little glimmers of hope, little shifts that they're making in their behaviors. And you say, oh my gosh, they're actually putting in the effort to make our relationship work. They love me. They want me around. They want to be with me. All those little things we tell ourselves when we see our partners making some effort that we've asked them to make. However, that effort seems to last a week, a month, maybe a little bit more, but slowly and surely it kind of dwindles away. And sooner or later, you're kind of back to where you started from. And so then you're asking again and you're waiting some more. And each time you ask, there's a little bit more urgency. There's a little bit more desperation. There's maybe some anger or some resentment that begins to get mixed in. The problem here is that you're telling yourself they are the only ones who can fix the issues. And they are also the only ones that could end your relationship, which gives them all of the power. You are relinquishing your future and your happiness to someone else. This is what I did in my relationship for years until I realized what the real solution was. It was me, it was never him. So I was waiting for him because I was afraid that if I were to start making decisions around whether I wanted to leave my marriage or not, I would be labeled a bad guy, a bad mom, a bad daughter, a bad Christian. I would be the bad person if I even considered leaving my relationship. So even though I thought I had done everything in my power that I could on my end to make my marriage work, if I was the one to decide to leave, I would be the one who gave up. I would be the one who failed. Eventually, I started to shift how I viewed myself in my relationship and how I could be more intentional about basically driving my own bus, creating my own future, making the decisions that led me to where I wanted to go. So now, 12 years later, after lots of education, lots of coaching, both for myself and with my or to my clients, and teaching, I've finally understood, I finally understand what it takes to make a confident decision about staying in a marriage or leaving. And no matter what you decide, never looking back with guilt and regret. And it has nothing to do with your partner. It had nothing to do with my partner. And that is what I'm here to share with you today. What does it take to make a confident decision and move on with your life? So, I believe there are 4 skills that you need in order to make a confident decision about your marriage. Maybe you need to develop only 1 or 2 of these skills. Maybe you need to develop all 4. I know for me, it was all 4. But somewhere in here is the golden nugget or nuggets that you need to develop skills in order to make your decision. All right. So the first skill that you need to make your decision is self love. It is deciding based on what you really want and not based on fears. So we all have rules that we live by that dictate what we think we quote should do. And all of those rules are based on our past experience. Most of those rules were handed down to you by someone else before you were old enough to decide for yourself whether or not you wanted to believe that rule. So you need to become aware of all of these rules that you have, become aware of them, look at them, evaluate them, decide whether they're helpful for you the way they are, whether you want to shift them a little bit in order to match what you truly believe, or whether you want to let go of them completely because they are not benefiting you at all. Okay. So that's the first one, self love. The second skill that we need to develop is self confidence. So none of us knows what the future is going to bring. You could decide to stay in your marriage. We have no idea what's going to happen. You could decide to leave your marriage. We have no idea what's going to happen. But what we do know is that we base our decisions on how we think we are going to feel. So we're either chasing good emotions or we're trying to avoid the negative emotions. That's every decision we make. Self confidence is knowing that you're going to be able to handle it no matter what happens. Okay. So because we don't know the future, we're going to make the best decision we can with the skills, knowledge, and awareness that we have. And then we are going to have the self confidence to know that we're going to be able to handle whatever happens. Okay. The third skill is self trust. It is knowing that once your decision is made, you're not going to look back with guilt, regrets, self doubt, second guessing yourself, none of that. You're going to have your own back because you are going to trust the process that you went through to make your decision. That's the third one. The last and final skill that needs to be developed is self integrity. Most of the people that I talk to about this decision are afraid that no matter what they decide, it's going to end badly, either for themselves or for someone they love. And choosing their own happiness, making that the priority, feels selfish. And choosing the happiness of those they love, they believe like leaves them doomed to misery for the rest of their lives, right? So there's no good answer. But I want to offer, what if there is a decision that you could make that is best for everyone? Best for you, best for your kids, best for your spouse, even best for your family, best for your religious community. All of the people will benefit based on this decision that you make because you're going to make this decision as and from the best version of you. You're going to decide what you value, what's important to you. How do you want to show up in this life, in this relationship, as the best version of you, in the best way? And then we're going to ask you to hone and honor those values as you make your decision. Okay, so that's the fourth one. So, four things that you need in order to make a confident decision. We just went over all four of them: self love, self confidence, self trust, self integrity, none of which have to do with your partner. They are all you. Okay. And once you allow yourself to lean into your own knowledge, your own awareness, your own trust, who you are, there is nothing that you can't do. And when I say that, you can decide to stay and be happy. You can decide to leave and be happy. But we want you to make the decision that feels true, honest, and authentic to you and the life that you want. Okay. All right. So if you are interested in exploring having some help developing these skills, I would be so honored to be that support for you. There is a link in my profile here on YouTube. You are welcome to click on that and schedule an appointment with me where we can talk about all the things. And I will say, there's been so many benefits that come out of just that initial free phone call, by the way. There's no cost to that. I promise I'm not going to nag you about buying something that you don't want or need. We are going to just talk about what's going on in your relationship. And I'm going to help you see it from a different perspective. And ultimately, if we decide to work together, great. If not, that's okay too. All right. So I hope to see you in the future and in a future video, and I will talk to you soon.